Okay, peace, blessings, and enough love to everyone. Do hope and trust that everyone is in the best of health and is okay and is great after such a wonderful meeting from our beloved CEO, Ash Mufari. I do hope and trust that everyone is great on this April. Oh, mercy. See, I'm confusing the date now. May. May 24, 2022 in our On Passive globally changing lives deep dive webinar. I welcome you one. I welcome you all. I welcome all of you to our wonderful webinar at this time. And I do hope and trust that everyone is feeling great at this time. And so we are going to play.
To the future we're rising.
Wonderful. And so at this time, we are going to first bring on our great, wonderful spiritual speaker. And she need no introduction because I tell you, she has warmed the hearts of many people thus far. At this time, we're going to ask Verona Willis-BROWN, our international speaker, international spiritual speaker, and who have been encouraging us for the past couple of weeks now, or almost a month now, actually. And we really appreciate all that she says to us and the encouragement that she gives to us. So at this time, Verona Willis-BROWN. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Greetings to everyone that is here, everyone that showed up. And when we show up, we are not only showing up for ourselves, but we are showing up for a community. We are showing up for the world. We are showing up for our family. We are showing up for a generation. So let me tell you, if this is your first time here, you should know that we start off with an exercise. And if this is not your first time, then you should know the exercise. The exercise is where I ask you nicely and obediently to put your hand on your chest, right over where your heart is beating, and feel the rhythm of your heart. The rhythm of your heart determines how your mind is. If it's going at a fast pace, then you need to stabilize your thoughts. So feel the rhythm of your heart as it pumps on your chest and below your palm. That signifies that you are alive. That signifies that I acknowledge you being here because you are alive and you are well. And that signifies that I am not speaking to dead people. I am speaking to people that are alive and waiting. So therefore, as your hand is placed upon your heart, just take that moment to breathe a little. Inhale and breathe out. Let us breathe out all the anxiety that we do have. Let us breathe out all the unstable thoughts that we have so we may get into today's word. That is just a moment to acknowledge that you are present. So again, my name is Verona Willis-BROWN, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm going to give a very, very short story of who I am. See, I came from a farmer's background, farmer's parents. See, and those parents were labeled as the poorest family. We were labeled the poorest family in an entire community and the adjacent community. But somehow, life teaches you lessons. And you have to learn to change your mindset and adapt to certain things. But you see, as a little girl, I remember going to school, sharing my breakfast when my mother served me in the morning. And she served breakfast, and I would take a little piece of my breakfast and I would tuck it in my pocket or in my bag and rush off to school. And when I rushed off to school, I would feed my class for those who didn't have. And after a while, it became a thing to the class. That another student start bringing a little piece of something, and another student start bringing a piece of something. And as we expand the sharing thing, you see, it started out with the mindset that you have to share. And we developed this classroom where we were known as the classroom that share our breakfast. See, we were all born with that. We were all born with that trait to share. You see, I grew up into this being where I became an inspirational speaker, a podcaster, a creator of my own show. I am the host of a show. I am a youth mentor, a blogger, and lifestyle coach. Yes, I came from a family who were labeled as the poorest. But see, sometime in life, what you have to do, you have to learn to carve yourself out of what society says about you. You have to carve yourself out of what somebody's perception of you is. Because people will determine for you. But how will you determine for yourself? How will you know who you are? It takes life. Life lessons will say, I am not that which you say who I am. You have to know for yourself of how much you want to evolve into the being that you were created to be. Because we were all created to create greatness. We were all created for that. So as I acknowledge each and every one of you as you show up today, I first want to acknowledge our brother Ash. He is the reason why we are sitting here together as a family. So I want to fully acknowledge him. I want to fully acknowledge how much he's sharing, not only from his wealth, but he's sharing from his heart. And that we can see with our eyes, that is physical sharing, that he's presenting to you something. But if your mind is not wrapped around whatever he's sharing, you cannot reap the benefit. So I'm going to ask you a question before I go any further. Are you hungry enough? I'm going to ask that question again. Are you hungry enough? See, when we hear the word hungry, I think the first thing we think of is food. What kind of food I'm going to eat, how my taste bud will accept what is it that is being cooked or what is being served to us. But I want to tell you, you got to be hungry in your mind. You got to be hungry in your mind of how much you want to pour in something in your mind. You want to pour in the most positive things in your mind to absorb that which is being served to you. Then and only then, when your mind is aligned to your heart, your hand will stretch out to accept and also serve those who come in your space. How hungry are you to say, I am going to feed my mind? How hungry is you that say, I am going to adjust my mindset to whatever is being served to me? A plate could be presented to you, but will you eat from that plate? And even if we all eat from that plate, many of us will not digest. Many of us will not digest what is being served to us. And for those who are mothers, we wanted to be like our mother, and we wanted to cook like our mothers, and we wanted to serve our family like our mothers. And for those who are wives, your husband probably look at it and say, oh, your food does not taste like my mother. I want you to cook like my mother, because there's something about serving from a motherly heart. As much as Ash is serving us, he's serving from a motherly heart. And we must learn to align ourselves in place to accept what is being served and to digest it. We don't have to take a full serving. What we have to learn to do is to take bite size. Bite size. Because when you take bite size, you learn to and savor that. Don't rush your mind into the things that is not presented to you. Trying to be so anxious, as I show you the exercise earlier, it is a combination of how your mind is running. Anxious, because those are our emotions, but you have the power to control your emotions. You have the power to know how to turn that gauge on of how you want to manifest those emotions. So when you are being served something, take bite size and try as much to chew and digest. You see, my mother once told me that when you chew your food, to chew it 100 times. Because when you chew it 100 times, it gives it more time to get into your digestive system. Don't just chew and swallow, because then you have a stomach ache. Many of us are in that same format. Chew, swallow, chew, swallow. But I want to tell you, take bite size. Take a sip If you have a cup, take a sip and let it savor. What is being presented to you? Dissect it. Little by little. Little by little. And let it hit your mind. Let it hit your heart. And let those two align itself, because for you to get any further, you have to be in full alignment so we can serve humanity, because Ash's main purpose is not about money. Ash's main purpose is saying, let us together lift up humanity. Let us together lift up humanity. And how will we lift up humanity? You got to take in a little, and then you got to share a little. Share what you have so you can serve humanity without us taking that little and share. Humanity will always be in poverty. My dear brothers and sisters, poverty is a mindset. Just the same way they label my family as the poorest, that's a mindset because we prove them wrong. It's a mindset you must develop to rise above what society says about you and your family. You, my dear sister Amadine, you, my brother Derek, you, my sister Irene, you, my sister Della, take into consideration that you are not what society says. And here we are, as Ash comes and says, let me share from my overflow. How will you accept what Ash is sharing? Are you even prepared to share from what Ash is sharing and serving us? So as you take that into consideration, take little by little, because a little can go a long way when we serve from the heart. Align your mind with your heart as we evolve into this family, lifting up humanity. Thank you.
Mercy, 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 mercy. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And, oh goodness. Thank you very much, Verona. That was definitely from the heart.